What if I told you that according to podcast media host LIBSYN, just 133 downloads would put you in the top 50% of all podcasts? But most podcasters aren't simply looking to be average, and many want to make money from their podcast. To be better than average, first, you have to level up. Job one is honing your craft. Practicing your hosting skills is a must if you ever want to see more than 133 downloads. That's why I recommend doing as many dry runs as possible. And when I say dry run, I mean you're going to pretend like you're hosting a podcast and then you're going to delete it. Why delete them? Well, because having a polished podcast from the very start is going to help you clear this next milestone, which is being better than almost 70% of all podcasts. And you'll do that by achieving 500 downloads in the first 30 days of release. If you're able to complete that task, then you're on to your next hurdle, which would be 1,200 downloads per episode within the first 30 days of release. That would put you in the top 20% of all podcasts, and it's a great time to level up your audio. Up until now, unless you're a big name, you can get away with subpar audio or just average audio. But once you start reaching a broader audience, they're going to expect top quality production. The good news is now you're on to the next milestone that LIBSYN shared, which would be achieving 3,200 downloads per episode within the first 30 days of release. This would put you in the top 10% of all podcasts. However, it's not time to pat yourself on the back just yet, because many brands won't be sliding into your DMs just yet. That's because a lot of advertisers require a minimum of 5,000 downloads per episode within the first 30 days of release before they'll start to work with you. After you reach the 5K host read ad threshold, then your next milestone is going to be 7,400 downloads and will place you in the top 5% of all podcasts. You'll be better than 95% of podcasts out there if you can achieve this milestone. I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, pop the champagne. Wrong. If this were a video game, you wouldn't even have faced the second to last boss yet. Growing past this point is extremely difficult. And at this point, you should be spending more time marketing than you are on recording and producing your episodes. Because to get to the next level, you're going to have to reach 17,000 downloads per episode within the first 30 days of release. This will place you squarely in the top 2% of all podcasts. You'll be better than 98% of all podcasts available at the time of this recording, of course. At this level, your audience engagement should be through the roof, and there should be plenty of ways for you to monetize your podcast, which could include a good chunk of your audience giving you donations, host read ads, and even programmatic. While I'm not a big fan of programmatic, it would become more viable at this point than the earlier stages. Even if 1 to 3% of your audience is donating, it could end up being a decent amount of money recurring every month. With that said, even with some money coming in, you're going to have money going out if you want to reach the final boss, because paid advertising at this stage of the game is what's going to help propel you to that next level. And you always want to leverage business income instead of your personal income when you're spending money on marketing. However, the choice is yours. Spend your money the way you see fit. With all the power-ups unlocked, you're going to face the final boss, which is achieving 29,000 downloads per episode within the first 30 days of release. This will place you squarely in the top 1% of all podcasts. You'll be better than 99% of every other podcast in existence at the time of this recording anyway. And this is where they hand you your cape, your scepter, and your crown. Not really, but this is the point in which big brands may want to work with you at this point, and you're in that rarefied air where they'll reach out to you, or your media host might reach out to you and work in some sort of deal with them. That's because many of the media hosts now have their own advertising branches of the same company. Simmer down, simmer down. I'm going to bring you back to earth a little bit. I've been podcasting since 2006, and I've launched over 36 podcasts. I've achieved the 29,000 per episode within the first 30 days of release 3 times. So that's way more not getting to that level than actually achieving that level. And it is quite the grind. In fact, if you botch your podcast launch, you'll probably never even achieve the first or second milestones. And that's why you should watch this video here where I explain 5 podcast launch mistakes and how to avoid them. As always, thank you.